Stop Ohio, where Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders are battling for the Browns' starting quarterback job. The new head coach, Todd Monken, told Cameron Wolfe of NFL Network that each will start a preseason game and that the leader will likely start the final preseason game on August 27th against the Patriots. So, again, in case that's not clear, one guy will start one, the other guy will start the other, and then they'll make a decision on the starter for the third preseason game and go from there. Jeff, what can you tell us about this decision?
None of this is ideal only because Todd Monken really wanted this decided well before training camp even started. That being said, now that we are in the competition, I don't want to call this a surprise because it's not necessarily that, but Shedeur Sanders has come out very hot. He has looked very good in his 2 days with the starting reps. Deshaun Watson, on the other hand, throwing quite a few picks that have drawn some criticism out there of people watching. It is far from over. It is still very early, but right now, feels like Sanders has the edge.
And Gerald, you were saying in our meeting this morning, he can make any announcement he wants at any time he wants. The players on the team, they will know before anyone else knows.
Yeah, we sitting in that locker room. You got a QB battle going on, but whoever starts, he start this preseason game. They start their preseason game. We sitting in the locker room like we know who the guy is. On the defense, we looking at the offense like we see who they're gravitating to, and we know who we want to be the guy in the locker room. The coach can say what he wants to the media and all that, but we know. So leading up to these games, we're thinking, okay, how can we win with this guy right here? But for me, if I'm picking, you just hit on the draft last year with your draft picks.
Right.
With all your young guys. You just traded away Myles Garrett because we want to go younger. If you're going to do that, Deshaun Watson has had all the opportunities to show what he can do. Just go with Shedeur and let's keep it pushing. Like, you're going younger. Why not just go with Shedeur? Let's establish him as the starter and let's just build from there.
The first thing you said there, I don't want it to get lost. The Browns got as much production from rookies last year as almost any team in the league. They drafted very well. They have a lot of good young players on this team. They can replenish from the Myles Garrett trade. In your opinion, should Shedeur Sanders be their quarterback this year?
Look, I still think it should be a meritocracy. They should have to compete for it.
Right.
Okay? Because, look, in the end, I mean, when do you get tired of in Cleveland constantly talking about next year and pushing things down the road next year? Well, next year we have all these picks. Next year we could get our quarterback. No. Look, if Shedeur wins the job, great. That's perfect for them because they still have those 2-1s for next year. You know what? And I'll tell you what, if Deshaun wins it and he gives them the best chance to win, then look, as Gerald's talking about, as we know this, you want to maintain credibility in your locker room. You're not just going to play a guy who didn't earn it. So if Shedeur doesn't earn it, you can't play him.
Right.
But if he's earning it, it's the perfect scenario for them. I think that's what everybody wants. That's what everybody wants.
There feels like no world where Deshaun Watson is the future of this organization.
Right.
After all that has happened, after all that has gone through. But that doesn't mean, to your point, that you can just throw the other guy out there if Deshaun is clearly better.
Yeah.
At this point, it seems to be making its decision for them because Shedeur Sanders looks like the better quarterback.
Which again, look, when they're having personnel meetings, after camp is over and the players have gone back to their play, and they're sitting in there talking as a front office, I promise you they're going, Shedeur.
Yeah, right.
Great.
Right.
Keep it going. Make this easy for us.
The Shedeur thing was a big thing, right, when it happened in the draft and everything. J-Mac, you and I have never talked about. Are you a believer? Do you believe Shedeur Sanders can be a good starting quarterback in the NFL?
Yeah, he's got winning pedigree. Did people forget who his dad is?
Yeah.
I know how I groom my son. I groom my son in a way of I know what it takes to be at the highest level, and I'm not Prime. Prime is arguably the best player to ever put on cleats. So imagine how he's been grooming his son from the time he started coaching him. The lights are not too big for Shedeur Sanders. He can handle any pressure you give him and any thought process or questions he has. Hey, Pops, what you got for me? What do I need to do? What does coverage look like doing this? What is this doing this? Yes, I believe Shedeur Sanders can be a starter in this league.
And on top of it, look, he's kind of made his own resume. Okay, when he was out at Colorado, he had plenty of tape. There's plenty of evidence that says, I can do the things that you need franchise quarterbacks to do. Now, as Gerald's talking about, if he can just get the support around him and he can kind of tap into that mental resilience that he's talking about, then that's how you get consistent performance, and that's what you're looking for.
Best case scenario in Cleveland is he turns out to be the guy. Now you've got those two picks and you don't need the quarterback. They could really be getting somewhere. Speaking of franchise quarterbacks, up next, Lamar in a new lane as the Ravens give the
fifth straight training camp practice as he awaits a new contract. Gibbs told the media only time will tell when asked how long he'll remain out. Bijan Robinson's new deal has everyone thinking what that means for Gibbs including head coach Dan Campbell.
Certainly not going to hurt. I mean, it's not going to hurt. But we'll see. You know, we'll see. Look, I'm anxious to get Gibbs back out there. Every day that goes by, you know, that's another day that you feel like you miss with him and getting him out there with the guys and him being doing his part. So, but there again, man, it'll get done when it gets done.
For much more, we've got Jeff Darlington. And Falcons running back Bijan Robinson just signed a massive 3-year, $75 million deal, record-breaking $51 million in guarantees. Jeff, what does Robinson's record-breaking deal now mean for Jahmyr Gibbs?
Well, to me, it means that these next 48 hours or so are incredibly important with Jahmyr Gibbs because this is the shoe that needed to drop. As long as one guy got their deal done, you now have the benchmark for the other. Now, some did project that Jahmyr Gibbs might be in line to actually get paid slightly more than Robinson, but it should be very close and in the same ballpark. If the team and the player can't get together now that they have this answer, that's when we should start to worry that this is going to be a prolonged negotiation. But as far as I'm hearing, there was already comfortable and healthy talks that were ongoing. So to me, I would be more surprised if this did continue to linger on.
All right, staying in the NFC North, Micah Parsons eyeing a Week 6 return this season after an ACL tear last year. What do you know? They play the Dallas Cowboys Week 6 of this season. Tuesday, he said, quote, "I think it's very realistic." So we know how Parsons feels. Jeff, what is his team saying about his potential return?
Well, the Green Bay Packers are notoriously stingy about letting their players return from injuries like an ACL. Micah Parsons also has been really conservative about his approach too, saying that I'm going to be ready when I'm ready. And right now, he's just running in straight lines, no change of direction. He will undoubtedly start the season on the physically unable to perform list, which will mean that he'll miss 4 games. He will be able to practice before that, but really the Packers don't allow their guys to generally practice until 9 months out. That would put him just 2 weeks removed from that Cowboys game. So I think that is a tight timeline, but certainly one we shouldn't count him out. Parsons says he feels stronger than ever. As soon as he gets that knee right, he thinks he is going to be a one-man wrecking crew and ready to take this league back on.
All right, let's go from the NFC North to the AFC North, where Cleveland has a quarterback battle going on. Shedeur Sanders, Deshaun Watson, Dylan Gabriel, all in the mix. Who has the edge right now, though, Jeff?
Well, it feels very early, right? But they're splitting reps based on each day. One day, one guy gets the ones, the next day, the other guy does. Right now, Shedeur Sanders does look like the better quarterback at training camp. Pretty large consensus on that, pretty unanimous that Shedeur is really impressing the coaches. Todd Monken really likes what he has seen throughout the offseason and the first few days of camp. But this is a long battle. Monken wants to see both guys in the preseason before any determination is made. But for right this moment, it does feel like Shedeur Sanders has the edge.
Yeah, Monken will get his first look at those quarterbacks when the Browns open the preseason in 10 days against the Chicago Bears. Jeff Darlington up this morning with us on SportsCenter. Thank you, Jeff.